How do you define success today? You know, the world's changed. You've gone through different stages. How old are you now, may I ask?
38.
Okay, so 38 years old, you're going to be in 40 at a certain stage soon, and people have a funny way of looking at their life when they have a birthday with a 0 on it, you know?
Yeah.
How'd you look at success in those early days? How do you look at it today? How do you think it defines people today? What do you think is important for people to consider before we even get into this? Because it's nice to start with the end in mind.
Yeah.
You know, what am I really after? Because otherwise, you know, so many people I know have just gone, they've hit it, they've even succeeded, and you see these people unfulfilled in the end, you know? If what you do fulfills you, then, you know, from my perspective, there's meaning to your life, it's rich. If it's not, regardless, you're going to be really unhappy. So how do you define success today? Has it changed? How do you think, what are the criteria people think should consider before they begin the journey, or if they're in it, if they're going to do a restart or reset? What should they be looking at?
Well, my definition of success has changed dramatically. I mean, it really has. When I was younger, I essentially had very little. I learned now that when I refer to myself as I was very poor when I was a kid, and I grew up very poor, compared to the rest of the world, I was still rich, okay, compared to most of the people.
$2 a day, you know.
Exactly, half the population of the world, right? But relatively to where I am now, I grew up very poor and with a lot of scarcity mindset around me, and, you know, around people who loved me very much, but just didn't understand business or money or how it worked. So when I looked at how do I create success, I went and read all the books and did all the studying about how to make money.
Right.
I thought money would equal success. I even read one great quote, which was, I've been happy and I've been sad and I've been rich and I've been poor, and if you're going to be sad, it's better to be rich and sad than it is to, you know, like, it's just a lot of...
But it's not true.
Yeah, there are a lot of really interesting ideas around money and success, right? So, and I've learned since then that what most people do is they really make money into God. Unconsciously.
You're right.
Because they make everything about how do I get more money, and they actually equate value with money.
Yeah, they'll give up their health for it, and then until they get to a stage of life where they'd give up all the money they had in a million years to get the health back, as an example, or the relationship, or whatever.
So for a long time, I was focused on money. In fact, I just did an interview with a guy named Joe Sugarman. I don't know if you know him.
He's one of the first infomercial guys, the blue blocker.
Exactly, right? He sold like something like $1 billion worth of blue blockers, and he's a beautiful, beautiful guy. He's 70 years old. He can do 24 pull-ups. Okay? Now, I can't. I mean, I can do 10 like on a pretty good day here. 24. The guy is just he's an amazing guy, and he was talking about his philosophies of success. And he says that in his programs, he'll say, what you focus on expands.
Right.
If you focus on your health expands. If you focus on your business expands. What about if you want to make money? What do you do? And most people say, well, you focus on money and it'll expand. And he says, no. Why? Because money isn't the thing. Money is the symbol.
That's right.
So if you focus on creating value, then money expands.
Right.
So by focusing on money, which so many people do, they miss the boat. So they're focused on the wrong thing. So I was focused on the wrong thing for a long time.
Now, as simple as that may sound to somebody watching, I don't think there's anything that somebody could listen to here if they really were to take it in. You know, sometimes you hear something and your brain goes, yeah, that makes sense. But if you look at any human being who has really done well in life, extremely well, and I'm talking about spiritually, physically, emotionally, and clearly financially, that is the ultimate formula. There's only one way to become wealthy, and that is do more for other people than anybody else is doing. So you and the team of people that I have so much respect for that become kind of let me in their family recently, all universally are focused on value. That's what my entire life's been. How do you add more value? How to make somebody a raving fan by giving them more than they could ever dream is possible? And then their life is beyond what they could expect, and they tell everybody else about it. I've been able to make unbelievable business mistakes, frankly, because I didn't know how to run a business. I was learning and I was building, but I was able to survive those because I added, my whole focus was so on the person I love, which is my client, you know, the customers, the people that I felt this fiduciary responsibility, this emotional and spiritual responsibility for. So I love what he said there. So I want you to continue, but I don't want to mark it out. Anybody watching here is, I know you know it, we all know, add value, that's the way to go, but you know, if you focus on the money, you're going to have a lot more scarcity in your life, or you're going to have more money and still be miserable because the way you're going to go about getting it is not going to fulfill you long term. So please continue.
Yeah, so the transition really came as I got enough money to pay my bills, and I was living a nice lifestyle, and I realized that the feeling of maybe lack, a lot of it was still there. Right, there was still something that, like, I brought...
Even after the $12,000 a month?
Even after the $400 a day. And I realized I had brought me with me to success, right? And you said it best here, that, I mean, it's ultimately about what you contribute to other people's lives. And so that word contribution has come to mean a lot to me, because it's not just creating value for other people. It's not just about helping them necessarily make money or whatever. It's truly figuring out what other people want to achieve, how they want to help the world, what they want their lives to mean, and then help them accomplish that. And you know, I think it was Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you can get what you want. There are a lot of these types of quotes. You hear them, you read them, but I read them for years.
You hear them so much, and people get numb to it, right?
Yeah, I read them for years, and I thought, okay, I can say that stuff. Okay, I get it. But I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand that I have to completely take my eye off of getting, and I have to really dig into another human being and say, what are your fears? What are your frustrations? What are you trying to accomplish? What are your blocks? What can I see that you can't, that I can in some way contribute to? Like, how can I help you get where you want to go? And then once that happens, that's when you realize true value. Because ultimately, I think in life, at the end of the day, at the end of the whole thing, at the end of one day or a week or a month, or probably at the end of your whole life, when you really reflect back, the things that bring what you might call fulfillment or consistent, stable, rising tide joy are the contributions to other people's lives. And if you find other people who are really trying to make a difference in the world, that are at the top of business, philanthropy, any different area, education, and you really help them become successful, there's plenty of opportunity there to make money, to get some value back for yourself in that way, and you can really do well by doing good. But if you stay focused on how do I get money, interesting thing I've noticed, Tony, you say success leaves clues, all right? I say that probably once a week, and I credit you, and I say, okay, that's a really interesting statement. Success leaves clues. So I should study success, see what people did to become successful, and then do some of those things, and it really works. What I've noticed is that failure leaves clues as well. People that feel like failures. And so I asked myself, what's the difference between people that feel like a success and people that feel like a failure? And I found that people that don't have a lot of abundance and success in their life have a consistent mindset. And the mindset is this: I'm going to figure out a scam or a scheme or a trick or a way to work the system. I'm going to work on it for a long period of time. Then I'm going to have the payoff day where I'm going to get lucky. Either I'm going to win the lottery, or I'm going to sue somebody, or I'm going to figure out some way to, inherit some money. There's something. And then from that day when I get that payoff, for the rest of my life, I'll never have to work again. And they imagine themselves like laying on a couch or on the beach or whatever it is, and they stay focused on that. And then if by some stroke of chance, as you know, if they do luck into some money, they figure out how to lose it very quickly, right? Most of the people that win the lottery, and you see the person on the rocking chair and they're like, I don't know where it all went, but other people wanted it more than me, I guess. Whereas people that are more successful, I think in a lot of different senses, but that feel successful, they don't look for a scheme or a scam. They don't want instant gratification, and they don't think of themselves hitting a success point and then not working ever again. They think, how do I improve myself? How do I become more valuable to myself and others? How do I add value to other people's lives? And how do I consistently improve over time? And how do I accrue and build like a tidal wave of wealth in my life? And then the other counterintuitive thing that I never would have guessed would be true is that the most successful people love the work that they do. They love it so much that they do it all the time.
When they don't have to.
Well, and it's like they love, like Donald Trump, I mean, he says, I love playing the game. He loves it. I mean, this is a guy that obviously could do whatever the hell he wants for the rest of his life, loves playing the game. And that's what, when you find your niche, when you find your
passion.
Exactly, right? In this world, there's the little niche for you, for all of us, where we can be a part of it and we can contribute. And when you find that, and you take a long-term mindset and you think, I was talking to, Dan Sullivan is by chance, strategic coach. I got to spend some time with him recently. And he said, I want to die in the middle of my latest transformation.
That's very cool.
Right? In the middle of it. He said, I want to die on stage. That's when I want to die, is on stage. And that's the mindset that the most successful people have.